So, as we continue with the movie, now they're on the story, they're deep in the story, but they were stuck. And Woodward has only met with Deep Throat one time so far. And he's confirmed and denied a few things, but it's obvious there's something big going on. And it's pretty intense. Then they needed this list of the creep committee, or the list of, I don't know, some list. And they finally got it. And I think then they just start, like, investigating all the creep people. That's the committee to re-elect the president. And that's who they funneled, that's the committee where they funneled the funds into the Watergate burglary, because they wanted to spy on the Democrats. What you have to understand about this movie is that the character, actually, of Richard Nixon, who is not a character in the movie, but he is kind of, because he is sort of appears in footage and cameo, and they use the real Richard Nixon. But he was quite a paranoid individual, and he always thought that people were spying on him, and he thought he was going to be overthrown. I don't know, he had all these weird ideas, and it was a very turbulent time. There were protests outside the White House. He was really freaked out about those, and so he was trying to, head something off at the pass, whatever he thought was going to happen, and so that's why he decided to bug the Watergate offices. Because that was the headquarters of the Democratic thing. Even though he was going to win the election, there was no way he was probably going to lose, because McGovern was getting to be a pretty weak candidate at that point. And maybe they were afraid that Ted Kennedy was going to win, but he got kind of taken out by Chappaquiddick. So, I don't know. It gets more and more interesting. And it's such a great movie. So, I'm at the part where, well, I don't know. I can't remember where I am, but I'll talk about it at the end. I'm loving also, I forgot, we have like rotary dial phones. We have all the fashions and the haircuts from the 70s. That one girl who gives them the list, that's hilarious. Her hair, she's got like this haircut, the same as the girl in Saturday Night Fever. The one who enters the contest with them. It's so funny. Those, like, wings or feathers. Oh, my God. And a cowl neck sweater. It's a blast from the past. But it's so well done. It was such an incredibly... I don't know who directed it. I thought, Robert Redford was very good friends with Sidney Pollack, who directed a lot of really good movies and acted in a few, actually, too. And he directed a couple of Robert Redford movies. He directed, I think, The Way We Were. He directed The Horse Whisperer. I know he directed that one about... Oh, that wasn't him. It was Harrison Ford in the plane crash. I don't know. Anyway, he was friends with him. Anyway, who cares? But anyway, back to our movie. I am from Detroit, and there was this guy. There was this guy in Grosse Pointe. He lived in Grosse Pointe, but he was from Detroit, and he had this movie show on in the afternoon. So if you stayed home from school, sick, watching The Price is Right, after The Price is Right and all the game shows were done, you could either watch, Grandma's Stories, or you could watch this guy. And sometimes he would have a good movie, and his name was Bill Kennedy at the Movies. And he was like semi-famous in Grosse Pointe, and he was really a nut. And he lived in Grosse Pointe. He gave out full-size candy bars for Halloween. He lived in this mansion, and it was hilarious. But he had this show, this movie show, and he was sort of and he would tell these stories about actual movie stars that he knew or had a bit part in a movie, and then he'd tell some story about Dorothy Lamour or something. I don't know. It was hilarious. But he'd always do this thing. He'd always go. He'd take off his glasses, and he'd always go, and now, back to our movie. So, that's so dumb. Anyway, this is a ridiculous idea for a YouTube channel. But, I'm just bored enough to do it. And I promise you, if you stick with this, and you subscribe to my channel, and the videos will get shorter and better because I have no idea how to edit anything, and I'm sure gonna learn fast, but this one's gonna be a little long. Okay, all right, back to our movie.